it took me probably 3 months to actually start, making commission within the job. There were people that I joined in a sort of crop, I suppose, of maybe 3 other consultant trainees. We were all sort of battling it out in terms of who could actually make consultant the fastest, and that, is a major sort of factor in terms of who pushes on the most. You need to be competing with people around you. I got through trainee in about 2.5 months, which is basically two deals, and then after that I managed to sort of pick up about £5,000–6,000 in my 3rd month in the job, which was more money than I thought I would make in a month, in any job out of university. Sort of within that, you need to, it's very easy to get carried away initially and then sort of take that £5,000–6,000 and think, well, I've made it. Those are the people that will then definitely, sort of go on to sort of not necessarily make the biggest success of the job, because when you've got that £5,000–6,000, you need to be the sort of person where you say, right, 5's great, but I need 10, and then when you get 10, I need 20, and so on and so on. So what I suppose we're looking for, or what I realised I needed to do, was basically keep the pipeline very strong. Sort of every time I made more money, I realised I needed to up my work ethic as well to match that amount of money. So within 6 months, I suppose I'd made about £50,000. Which again was more money than I thought I'd make in 6 months out of university, and then probably in months 7 and 8, I think my biggest paychecks were about £15,000–18,000 in terms of what I was taking home. Which again, by that time I realised that it was a constant process and a sort of a 3-month cycle of everything you were doing. I was working in a much larger team, but I say a larger team, we were a much more consolidated team at the time in terms of not many people sort of began to develop their niches within the business. So I was working in a team which covered quantitative analytics, quantitative strategy, exotic quants, technology, high frequency trading and statistical trading, and that team was pretty much being worked by maybe 4 or 5 consultants, and those 4 or 5 consultants now, every single one of those guys spread off to start up their own team, and that's how the company's grown. So I naturally gravitated towards high frequency trading and technology, specifically, whereas other guys took sort of chunks of those other areas, went off and started very successful teams in those areas. So I gravitated in that way because I made my money in that area. I just happened to fall into that space. I found that the area is very, very technically driven. You have to be a bit of an expert on programming languages and all kinds of stuff that I know nothing about. I've not got a computer science degree, I don't understand it. I'm not massively interested in sitting at a computer and programming it, but that actually helped me because I didn't get bogged down in the technical aspects of what I was recruiting for. It's not, again, you don't need to be a computer scientist to recruit computer scientists. It's more the fact that I had an understanding of how to talk to these people, how to motivate them to do sort of what they needed to do to get the next job, and how I could make commission out of that move. So I started up that team maybe a year ago, and then from that year we've managed to grow the team since. In terms of the key aspects that Selby James will look for to get you involved, it's, I suppose, first and foremost, an absolute burning desire to make a lot of money, and make a lot of money quickly as well, before any of your friends from university will. And also probably more money than a lot of people that have been out of university for 5 years currently are. So it's people that want to have everything yesterday, I suppose, are, that's the type of character trait that they're looking for. I suppose the second thing that Selby look for is an intensely competitive nature, where you're not afraid to do whatever it takes to make sure you win a situation or find a way of getting a win out of a situation. It's not something that is necessarily transferred from sport. We've got people who have come in as music teachers and as sort of other people who've studied very hard at university and not really shown any sort of competitive streak in what they've done outside of university ever before, and just been fiercely competitive about everything they want to achieve over everybody else. I suppose thirdly, in terms of what they're looking for, it's a want to learn. You need to have that burning desire to actually come in and want to learn faster than anybody else around you, because you're sharing team leaders and directors time with sometimes 4 or 5 other people, And whereas the ratio is very good and much better than a much sort of, more established sort of 25-year blue chip company where there's 25 of you fighting over the attention of one person that can give you that information, they're still looking for people that want to hog every single minute of someone's time if they can help you make money. I suppose the fourth thing that Selby look for is probably someone that is realistic. You need to have realistic timeframes about when you want to achieve. If you're going to come in and say, I'm going to earn £100,000 and buy a Ferrari within 4 months of working the job, then that's completely unrealistic, and you're only setting your expectations up to full. So you need to be realistic that when you come in, the timescale is not always it's not always rigid. There are some people that have made a bucket load of money in 6 months. There are some people where it's taken them 12 months to actually get anywhere in the business. And actually make as much money as they wanted to. As long as you're realistic with that, then over years 2 and 3, then every single person that's come through that sort of first training stage, that initial stage of this is hard work, when am I going to see the serious paychecks, those are the people that go on to be most successful, because it does take time. Some people pick it up very quickly and have gone on to not do as well as other people. It's taken them a lot longer, but they've gone on to do very, very well beyond that. And some of our top billers are the people that have been there, for sort of a few years, and it's taken them maybe 12 months to pick up the job fully. So realism, I think, is very, very key factor, because it's not an emotionally linear job. We are looking for people that can handle very, very high ups and some quite low downs as well. But they even out with time, and as long as you're sort of savvy to that, then that's something that also will help you along the way.